Hello everyone, this is Neil from Edureka and welcome to this Edureka live session on why blockchain. Now, before we begin this session, I'd like to clarify that this session is not about Bitcoins, Bitcoin investment, or how to make Bitcoins. Rather, it focuses on the underlying technology which made Bitcoin possible as well as popular in today's world, which is blockchain. Now, this session is not practically oriented. However, if you do wish to learn the various practical implementations that can be done on the blockchain technology, then you can check out our Edureka Blockchain tutorial playlist and go through any of our videos that deal with respect to different technologies on blockchain. Now, blockchain is one of the biggest buzz of the last quarter. Now, apart from being one of the most trending keywords, blockchain in itself is a technology that can be called the dark horse of all the technologies that have upcome. It is a technology that does not come with a hangover of any previous technologies. Anyone can start with this technology, and this is something that's going to be quite widely used across different domains as well. People have also often called blockchain technology as being the next stage of internet as well. So this is something that's going to gain a lot of popularity going forward. Now let's move forward and look at the agenda for this session. We'll start off by first understanding what is blockchain and why use blockchain. Following which we'll be talking about the various features of blockchain and where can blockchain be used. Finally, we'll be also looking at blockchain trends, where we'll be looking at the upcoming job trends, the salary trends, as well as we'll also be looking at the future of blockchain as well. Now, let's start with respect to the first topic, which is what is blockchain. Now, before I go on to this, I'd like to know if any of you have any idea on what is blockchain. If you do, please put it across in the chat box. Meanwhile, at any point in the session, if you do have any queries, feel free to put it across in the chat box and I'll be taking them accordingly. Okay, to give you an understanding of what blockchain is, let me make it quite popular or quite clear as well. Blockchain as a technology became quite popular after the implementation of Bitcoins. To put it quite simply, it's a data structure wherein each block of the blockchain is stored in a timestamp chronological order. But you might be wondering, okay, what is a block in the first place? So a block basically is similar to a file wherein all the recent or validated transactions are stored, which are not stored in any of the prior blocks. Now there are two things that this statement makes out. Firstly, only validated transactions are stored in a block, and you do not repeatedly store data onto the blockchain. If a certain transaction detail is stored in a block, then it would not be stored either in a previous block or any upcoming blocks as well. Now, to help you understand this better, the block of a Bitcoin blockchain can be referred to as a ledger in itself. Now, how we all have account-based ledgers and passbooks. Therein, all the transactions that we perform, be it an ATM withdrawal, be it a cash deposit, be it a net transfer, each one of them are individually shown. However, in the blockchain Bitcoin ledger, the only difference being is that the details are stored with respect to everyone across the globe who is using Bitcoins as a medium of transactions. So put it quite simply, a block of Bitcoin blockchain actually stores the transaction details of everyone across the globe using Bitcoins as a means of transaction. Now, can a block only store transaction details? Definitely not. Today, blockchain technology has evolved more than Bitcoins or any cryptocurrency for that matter. It is something that can be used across different domains, and we'll be seeing how it's being used across different domains ahead as well. Now, to put it quite simply, blockchain is one of the biggest buzz in the industry today, and a lot of organizations are trying to understand this technology. So this is the right time to put your time and effort to learn this technology as well as master this. Blockchain is, or Bitcoins in itself, the most popular digital cryptocurrency, and the first cryptocurrency is actually an implementation of blockchain technologies. It was introduced in a white paper on 31st of October in 2008, wherein the world was facing a financial crisis, and this paper actually gave us an idea of how a decentralized cryptocurrency system can solve all the issues that was being faced across the globe that time. Because during the financial crisis of 2008, it's estimated that close to $11 trillion was lost across the globe. Now, that's a very huge amount comparing with respect to a specific event. Now, this one solution could make sure that this does not happen anytime ahead. Now, as we have seen again earlier, blockchain basically is a continuously growing list of records called blocks, which are linked to each other in a time record manner and is secured using cryptographic techniques. Now, I'm storing a transaction detail onto my blockchain, but what you need to understand is that it's completely accessible to anyone across the globe. So in order to avoid manipulations, they use various cryptographic techniques which ensures that these details are not manipulatable, as well as the users who are using this are completely anonymous and secure as well. Now, let's try to understand why blockchain. Blockchain has various features for that matter, but I've just listed some of them here. One of the major reasons which makes blockchain quite popular today is that it's impossible for anyone to tamper any data that's present on the block or ledger as part of the blockchain. This is because of the various features and security measures that are already inbuilt in the blockchain technology. Next comes the worldwide adoption. To give you a simple idea of how wide blockchain technology is, let's go back to the Bitcoin blockchain implementation. Now, there what has happened is, today it's estimated that close to 20 million people are part of this network, and 20 million people are spread across the globe. So blockchain technology has spread so widely across the globe in just one implementation. Imagine this being used across different technologies as well as different domains as such. Now, then comes the option of automated operations. Like any technologies, blockchain today has evolved in such a phase wherein you don't need to completely write codes or perform operations manually. What happens here is that you have various applications which makes it quite easy for you to perform this operation as well. Now, to give you a simple example here, let's take the case of Bitcoin mining as such. Today, most people just run the application, which in turn validates the transaction and ensures that they try to get bitcoins for validating or creating a new block. But earlier what used to happen was that this operation was done manually. As the technology has grown, so has the various functionalities and operations associated with it. Today you just have to use a UI based application and just click on a button and your operation starts. Now, blockchain is one of the most popular open source technology, and this in turn has made blockchain quite widely popular and effective. Any implementation, any development with respect to the blockchain technology is completely accessible across the net. To give you a simple idea, there are about 180 different variations of the original Bitcoin and blockchain core system. So 180 different versions which are just manipulated or variated from the original core package and completely accessible to anyone that wants it. Now, one of the key features that made blockchain quite popular and effective was its distributed architecture. All the data that was being stored in the Bitcoin blockchain network, that is the transaction details, was spread across the globe. So anyone who became part of this could actually hold the complete transaction details back from the start. Now, to give you an idea, this is not a small data, and blockchain system has grown a lot with respect to the same feature because it's distributed across the globe as well. Today, the entire blockchain ledger system would be about 150 GB, but at the same time, you have the access just to look at individual transactions rather than holding the entire ledger as well. Finally comes the flexibility. Now, as I had said, blockchain is just a technology that can be manipulated and molded as per your requirement as such. Using various programming languages, you can manipulate this technology as per your requirement. Going ahead, we'll also be looking at some of the domains and applications which have made use of this flexibility factor. Now comes the various features of blockchain that has made it stand above all other technologies. First comes the encryption system. Now, blockchain in itself uses a hash encryption system to store any details associated with it, be it the user details, be it the transaction details, be it any details with respect to that same. You use a hash encryption system. To be more precise, it uses an SHA-256 encryption system for that. Now, this encryption system is so complex that even a slight variation with respect to the input can make a massive difference with respect to the output. You would not be able to differentiate both the input and the output, and it's a unidirectional process. So even if you have the output, you cannot somehow reverse engineer and identify the input given here as well. Now, the second major feature which makes blockchain quite popular is the distributed ledger feature. Now, when I talk about the distributed ledger system, this has various implementation as such. Now, let's take a simple example of music sharing. Today, we have platforms like YouTube, we have platforms like SoundCloud, but they're all managed by a centralized authority or a centralized body who takes care of it. Musicians, what they do is that they put up a copy of their music on this platform, and thereby everyone can view it. But again, it's managed by one single entity. And when you look at it, there are a lot of ways wherein I can actually download these songs as per my use. Now, about 65% of a musician's profit is lost just from illegal downloads. And using blockchain system, we can highly ensure that firstly, they just have access to view it and not make a copy of it. At the same time, everyone who wants can actually view it as well. So thereby you can manipulate this distributed ledger feature as per your requirement as well. Now, yes, I'm pushing details into the blockchain, but how do I know this is a valid details or not? Because one of the implementations of blockchain is identity management, wherein users actually upload their identity cards or their details with respect to that on the blockchain, which can be verified and validated by different sources as well. But unless and until I make sure that the initial data that is coming onto the blockchain is valid, I cannot ensure that the entire system would be foolproof. So that is where consensus mechanism comes into the picture. Consensus mechanism basically is a process through which you validate whatever data is going to be put on the blockchain is valid as well as perfect. Okay, finally comes immutability factor. Now, one of the reasons that blockchain today is highly being used in the financial domain is because of this factor. If I give or if I store a transaction details onto the blockchain, then because it is immutable, I cannot manipulate it going forward. Here, the distributed ledger system also plays a factor because the details with respect to the transactions are spread across the globe, but at the same time, the system in itself ensures that no single entity can manipulate it. And even if someone tries to do that, then definitely everyone else apart from that system rejects this manipulation as such. Now, I hope you guys are following till here. Meanwhile, if you do have any questions, please put it across in the chat box. Either me or my team will be able to answer them. Alright, moving forward to the next question, where can blockchain be used? Now, you've understood what blockchain is, you've understood the various features of blockchain, but why do I want to use it and where can I actually use this as such? Now, to give you a simple understanding of where it can be used, I'd like to go to Dr. Adrian's definition on where blockchain can be used. Blockchain actually can be used in domains and organizations which basically fits into the FITS model or FITS, which is basically an acronym for fraud, intermediaries, throughput and stable data. Okay, so domains which have high possibilities of fraud. Okay, like you have your insurance domain, you have your financial domain. These are domains which can be highly impacted through the implementation of blockchain. Then comes intermediary domain. Now, any domain wherein intermediaries are present, through the usage of blockchain, I can actually ensure that there's a complete transparency with respect to that. Now, to give you an example or a real world implementation of the same, let's look at the supply chain management system. Now, here what has happened is that IBM and Maersk has come together and implemented a supply chain management system, which thereby has brought in a lot of transparency and cut the overall expense involved with transfer of goods by about 50% as such. Okay, now if you're looking for more details about the use case, you can check out the following link that my team will be sharing, which talks about IBM and Merck's use case. Then comes throughput of data, which is the next aspect. Now, throughput of data basically is domains where I have high amount of data being processed on a single instance. Now, to give you a very simple example, this would be your financial sector. Now, in your financial sector, just to give you a rough estimate, Visa and MasterCard processes about 80,000 transactions every single second. Now, through the variations of the blockchain implementation, today implementations like Cora or Codum, which is an R3 product, can process up to 100,000 transactions at a given instance. So this thereby gives you way more throughput at compared to the standard systems that are present there. Finally comes stable data. Now, what do I basically mean by stable data is that this data is not something that is going to change over a fixed or over a duration of time. Now, to give you a real world example, it would be relatable to a person's personal details or his identity details, or it could also refer to your land or asset titles. Now, land documentation is also another domain which is getting affected a lot through fraud systems. Today, about 70% of the land deals are messy and do not have a clear-cut understanding with respect to how the previous owners. Through blockchain, you can actually build a system which gives you a clear-cut idea of the previous owner, the present owner, as well as perform land transactions on this system as well. Now, going forward, let's look at 5 of the industries which are going to be disrupted by blockchain and are all to an extent being disrupted as well. First, we'll be looking at financial service domain. Now, financial service domain is one domain which has already been using the blockchain for a while now. 2016 was first when Barclay actually carried out the first trade transaction using blockchain. You also have another popular blockchain platform like Quorum, which is created by JP Morgan and has gained a lot of popularity of recently. 6 of the top financial organizations have already come together, including Barclays, HSBC and so forth, to create a separate blockchain through which all the financial transactions will be taking forward, thereby highly increasing the throughput of the data and ensuring it's highly secure and confidential as well. Apart from that, NASDAQ, which is the National Trading Organization, is already building a platform through which it can ensure that all the sales as well as trades done via stocks are kept in track, as well as it can ensure that the companies working with these are valid as well. The next domain is the voting domain and is one of the most popular and interesting domain that I personally am interested in. Now, Estonia basically is a country which had implemented blockchain through an e-voting system and cast vote, which ensured that complete turnout was there, as well as a foolproof system was present as well. Now, Follow My Vote is also one of the most popular online voting based solution which is being based on blockchain, and it's also believed that by 2024 the US elections in itself would be conducted on a blockchain system as well, thereby ensuring no vote frauds happen, as well as these systems are completely tamper proof. The next domain is real estate domain. Now, like I had said, if you have data which is not going to change over time, then definitely blockchain can be used, and this is one domain that has already been disrupted through blockchain. Sweden has already begun the process of migrating all the land registries to blockchain, so that in future any land deeds that can be performed will be performed on blockchain itself. Apart from that, Ubiquity is an application through which anyone can actually track as well as transfer land titles and property deeds to users who are part of this platform as well. This in turn is something that is going to grow into a very vast technology as well. Coming down to the next domain, which is music streaming domain. Now we've already discussed this in our previous slides. Now as I had said, artists lose about 86% of their proceeding due to illegal downloads as such. Now Mycelia basically is a platform through on which artists can actually sell their work directly to the user, thereby reducing the profit made by middlemen as well as gain the loss that is being caused due to illegal downloading. Finally comes supply chain management. Now in the supply chain management domain, as we have talked, IBM and Maersk are one of the biggest players in these domains, and they've already implemented this and are going to build a global scale blockchain through which not just Maersk but any of the users can come in and improve their system as well. Pronensis actually is one of the competitor for IBM in this domain itself, which provides a transparent as well as a traceable trade on the blockchain system. Earlier, what used to take 2 days now takes about 15 days on the blockchain with respect to supply chain domain, and can be cut short even further as well. This is mainly because it is cutting down on the cost that is being put on middleman as well as the time that are being taken due to the lack of transparency in the system as well. Now let's just take a look at the blockchain trends. Now before I go on, this is just a Google Trends graph that shows the growth with respect to the blockchain in the past few years. Now if you see the trend or the growth with respect to blockchain came in 2015 and is growing quite rapidly. Trust me guys, blockchain is something that is going to grow a lot more and is going to be used across different domains without any boundaries as such. Now just to give you an idea of what blockchain holds in future, this is the tectonic shift that blockchain is going to cause going ahead. Now this is based on a data that was provided by World Economic Forum. Now as on 2017, it was said that $10 billion is being invested in blockchain, but this is not actually correct, because almost close to $30 billion is invested in blockchain technology alone from pharmaceutical domain, and in 2018 first quarter there's going to be a separate blockchain itself by the pharmaceutical domain. So a lot more has been implemented here. Now one of the major things that I want you to focus here is by 2024 you're going to attain critical mass. What I basically mean by this is that by 2024 most organizations or any organization across the world is going to realize that it's now a point whether they have to migrate to blockchain, and by 2025 85% of the global technologies would have implemented blockchain as well. Now coming to the social impacts that blockchain is going to cause, you're going to expect the world governments also to implement blockchain technology. India has already started Indian Blockchain Council, which is going to ensure that all the processing and operations done on the blockchain system would happen there. Also going forward, by 2027 10% of the world's GDP is going to be present on the blockchain. Now what I mean by 10% of the world's GDP on the blockchain system is that it's going to be stable on the blockchain system. This is excluding the incoming and outgoing flow, so at least 10%. So this is a very huge amount which is going to be in trillions as such. Now with respect to the job trends on blockchain technology, if you notice by 2015 a lot of opportunities has grown. As I had mentioned, blockchain is one technology that does not come with a hangover of earlier technologies. Anyone who's interested to learn blockchain can start off, and this is the right time to do that as well. And with respect to the salary trends as well, on an average an professional today who knows blockchain technology is paid about 40 to 50% higher than any other developer job that's there in the market today. And this is not just in one specific country as such, this is across the globe as such. Now let me just summarize what we have discussed. Let me just summarize what we have discussed as part of this session. We started off with what is blockchain, and then we looked at why blockchain. We also looked at where blockchain can be used and the blockchain trends as well. Now, if you are interested in Edureka's blockchain training program, you can check out our Edureka blockchain training, wherein We have a 30-hour course which is distributed over 5 weeks and 15 days as well. As well as if you are interested to keep yourself updated to the latest technologies that are being used across different domains and that Edureka can offer you, make sure that you're subscribed and notified to our channel as well. Now, finally, if you're looking to know more about blockchain, you can check out our Edureka Blockchain tutorial playlist to get insight with respect to the different technologies associated. Finally, since all of you have stayed up for so long, you can use the survey link and provide us feedback on this and avail an additional discount on any of our courses across our Edureka channel. Now, if you do have any questions, please put it across in the chat box and I'll be taking them now. Okay, I have a question here from Jarades. Jarades is asking me, is the computational power needed in a traditional blockchain same as in a private one? No, Jarade, because it depends on how you actually implement a blockchain across your domain as such. Now, what resource would be used by an individual organization while they are setting up a blockchain privately, there would not be the same that is being used by the Bitcoin blockchain or Ethereum blockchain as such. So a public blockchain system would require more computational effort compared to a private blockchain, but it would depend on how much data that you're going to be processing and the number of nodes that are associated to that blockchain as well. Okay, so I get a question here from You Can Earn. Which language is used for creating blockchain applications? So there are various applications through which you can implement blockchain as such. You can build blockchain as well as blockchain applications using different language. Some of the most popular languages that are used is Solidity and Go. Okay, so I think that's about it. So with that, let me just wrap this session. Thank you guys for staying for so long.